This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports. We're here in Dublin. Delighted to be joined by the man of the moment, the man of every moment, Eddie Hearn. Eddie, we've just had obviously the initial launch press conference. Does this feel a bit like deja vu? Obviously it was only May, we were last here. Did anything feel extra special today? When you've done something once, it's hard to sort of replicate again. Is there a different feel about today?
Yeah, because of the fight, and a little bit of spite this time. And obviously they've shared 10 rounds before. They've got new predictions, new ideas, new strategies. And, Chantelle Cameron made it clear, I'm going to stop Katie Taylor. Her words, I'm going to destroy her on November 25th. And that won't go down well with Katie Taylor, who probably got overrun a little bit in the first part of that fight. I think these two are going to come out like two bulls November 25th. I think, Chantelle says, I know she can't hurt me. Katie Taylor said, you never hurt me. And they've got the bit between their teeth to just make this a firefight, and I think we're going to see a fight of the year.
It's a quality sort of poker thing, isn't it? Nobody wants to show the weakness sort of. Do you feel sort of, I guess last time around Katie's obviously first fight at home in quite a while, the early rounds maybe got to her, obviously the pressure of fighting at home. Do you feel it obviously now, as Katie seems a bit more relaxed today, there's no smiling so much, it's more, as you say, biting down there already, she wants that one back?
I mean, certainly she doesn't feel like she was at her best in that fight, but you can't take anything away from Chantelle, who's fantastic. In turn, Chantelle feels like she wasn't in her best in that fight. So I think that really you're going to see two improved fighters. Katie did let herself get backed up a lot in that fight, and that's because Chantelle's really strong. She's a big 140 pounder, she's got a great engine, and I don't think Katie will think she can afford to do that again. That's why I think you're going to see an even better fight, because I think it's going to catch fire from the first bell.
Do you think obviously some of the comments Chantelle made that it sort of wasn't very well treated sort of last time here, that the atmosphere sort of gets as an away fighter, you're not really going to get the home support? Do you think she might be hated more coming in this time?
I mean, it was hostile, and sometimes those comments might get picked up again by the Irish fans, and I don't know, I think she deserves a lot of respect for coming back. Of course, she would have wanted the fight in the UK as the champion and win, but this fight's generating a lot of money for the fighters, and we know that it's going to be a very fast sellout here. The pre-sale was even faster than last time, and it's a great arena, and why not come back here? Katie Taylor remains the biggest commercial draw in female boxing still, but Chantelle Cameron's right behind her, and she has a case now to be pound for pound number one. So back in Ireland, incredible atmosphere, and last time you saw Gary Cully and Katie Taylor lose, and I know you lot will be cheering them on to get the victory this time around.
Obviously, speaking on last time around, obviously it's probably the worst outcome we've had. Kate Radimska obviously beat as well, who's obviously originally Polish but based in Ireland. Obviously on the card, it's not announced yet. Obviously some fights you tried to make on the card. Obviously I think it was Gary Cully, Gavin Gwynn, Kevin Yarko, and Troy Williamson. What was the sort of plans? Sort of some of the rumours I'm hearing, maybe Kevin might not be on the card.
Kevin won't be on the card, no. I mean, that was, for me, in my opinion, perfect fight for Kevin. Back here, huge platform, but he just felt that he wanted a little bit of an easier fight first. Gary Cully will be on the fight, on the card in a real fight. We'll announce tomorrow. Thomas Carty here today will be on another championship fight in the heavyweight division. And then probably another 3 to 4 Irish fights and Irish fighters that will be on. I think what we want to try and do this time is try and make sure we've got a nice, strong contingent of Irish fighters. Last time, when Carty came out and when Cully came out, those atmospheres were some of the best I've ever experienced in boxing for an undercard fight, let alone a main event fight. So we want to make sure there's some really good trade fights, some popular Irish fighters as well, but we want to make sure that fighters are in real fights. And that's the thing, with Kevin as well. He had the fight last time against Grant Dennis. I don't want another warm-up. You're ready, in my opinion, and his training team believe it, but he's got to feel ready for a fight like Troy Williamson. I just felt it was the perfect fight, but I'm sure he'll be out soon, and we wish him the best.
I obviously know of a couple of domestic fights, obviously Brennan and Morrissey and Cooney and Gaynor. Is it sort of looking at the next level to sort of building the foundations for the future of Matchroom shows here?
It's about building atmosphere, and I think that there are two fights that would land on before the bell earlier in the night. But last time, one of the things that fascinated me was the arena was nearly full up at 5 o'clock. It was like thousands of people in there for the before the bell card. So we want to make sure that those fights build the atmosphere for a great night, and I know we're going to build a card that will be better than last time, and we'll build the atmosphere perfectly for the main event.
What sort of non-Irish fight you sort of looking at this time around? Obviously we had non-obviously Irish the last time. I sort of heard that Shannon Courtney turned down Nina Hughes on the card. Is there an interest in that?
She didn't turn that down. No, that's not a fight that is definitely happening on this card. Zelfa Barrett against Alex Dilmaghani, which was supposed to be on the Cardiff show. Great fight, could land on here as well. Like I said, 1 or 2 English fighters as well on the card, and we would like another female fight on the card, especially given the platform here, and maybe one on before the bell as well, so we'll have to see.
What about Shauna O'Keefe? Obviously she just obviously signed pro there, obviously she's former opponent of Katie. She'd obviously like to make her debut in the card. I guess everybody wants to fight in the card, but it's finding the right balance.
Yeah, it is. We can't let everyone fight, but you know, we'll build it on excitement, the matchmaking itself, popularity, and we'll go from there.
Do you sort of take a good interest away from obviously the shows here and Irish boxing as a whole? I think it's going to be the 10th card of the year, either north or south. Do you sort of pay much attention? We obviously had 2 cancelled cards in Dublin there last month as well.
For sure, and you know, obviously these are the biggest cards, but also it's great to keep the momentum for Irish boxing, and by staging these events and getting people interested in boxing again and giving them the confidence of Irish boxing returning, it's going to help the smaller shows as well. But for us, we need the big shows for TV obviously, but great to see a lot of activity in the country as well.
Obviously want to touch on Belfast because it's coming up 6 years since obviously you were last there. Is there any plans? Obviously is Kevin sort of, I guess, the only one in the north that you sort of really have there? Obviously Michael Conlon looks like he's a free agent at the moment. Is there any possibility you can maybe work Michael in the future?
Michael, you know, I think that's a partnership we can explore. I think, as I said before, when we go to these shows we need a big name, so we'd need a Michael Conlon to go to Belfast, you know, we need a Katie Taylor to go to Dublin, and the others need to be built behind them to make sure they can one day headline. So we'll see if anything happens with Michael, but he's a great fighter, a great lad, and like I said, we'll see. And
sort of just finally touching, obviously, is it true that obviously that he's made an offer for Anto Cacace and Cordina, but the offer was too low?
I mean, that's not true that the offer was too low, but it was true that the offer was too low in their opinion.
That would have been a good co-main event for this. Obviously, I know Cordina's fighting in Monaco.
Cordina's too big for co-main event, you know, but we offered Cacace to fight for Cardiff, you know, and I understand they felt like the money wasn't good enough. It was twice as much money as his actual opponent's getting this time around, but you know, we understand as well Joe Cordina's an outstanding fighter.
What do you obviously make of obviously Anto Cacace? Obviously the last couple of years he sort of hasn't had that activity. Is it sort of one that I guess he hasn't that profile sort of in selling a big fight?
He's a very good fighter. Like, I felt like he should have taken that fight against Cordina. You know, whether you think the money's right or not, a lot of other people will accept that money, but it's your opportunity to win a world title or to fight for a world title. And he also got offered the eliminator against Sugar Nunes, but they turned that down as well before it even got to purse bid or communication. So he needs to jump in a big fight, and he's a very talented fighter.
Well, listen, thanks very much for your time, Eddie, and I'm sure we'll see you again in 8 weeks' time.
We'll do. Cheers, mate.